Hey guys, this is ITV, and today we're going to be talking about the Miraculous Ladybug movie, which I have recently watched, and I gotta say it's a pretty good watch for any fan who watched the series, or if you dropped off, I think you would enjoy it. For any new person trying to get into Miraculous, it gives you a good gist of the story. And you can almost sort of maybe catch up if you wanted to and just hop into season 6 once it comes out from this movie. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could do it. So I really want to just say a very general review is that the movie is pretty good, where it kind of tries to retell origins and jump to the end. But my biggest concern and problem was kind of the fact that everything we did was every concept they hit, and they did good on some of them, but most of them you felt like you missed some things and you wanted more development. And I think that's very general, so I am now going to call this a spoiler warning. If you do not want to get spoiled, if you do not want to get spoiled, please leave. Go watch the movie, come back. And then say don't ever come back. Come back once you watch. But so to go into detail, I think one of the biggest things that shocked me was, well, I wasn't paying that much attention to movie spoilers or anything, but I guess I just missed the part where they said it was going to be a musical, because the movie is a musical, and I was very shocked. I had got like 5 minutes into the movie and I just heard singing, and I was like, oh. And I don't mind the singing, but I can't be the only one who noticed that they got different people to sing than to act. And I'm like, okay, but it's just, honestly, mainly for Marinette, the two voices, her singing voice and Christina V, it's very different. So every time they switch, it's very jarring. It was at least jarring to me. So much so I was just like, wait, what? Everyone else, though, they sounded kind of natural when they switched. And I know at least Bryce Papenbrook switched, because the brother is not that good of a singer. I know, because I've heard him sing on Miraculous and I've not been blessed ever since. But yeah. So the songs are all pretty good, fine to great. You Are Ladybug is just like really hitting to me. It really gives off a musical vibe, so I definitely say I enjoyed the songs. So I encourage, if you are really into music, you should definitely watch the movie. Definitely fun. Although I will say, it felt like there were like a few songs missing to really make it feel like a musical. Instead, the movie kind of just felt like a movie with songs instead of a musical. Because I think there's like 6 or 7 songs, and I'm used to like 8 or 9. I don't know. Weird thing. And I noticed it, especially like there were definitely parts in the movie where you just go like whole lot of minutes with no song. And what shocks me is that, you know, there are a bunch of points where they could have put in a song and they just choose not to. Which kind of leads to my next point, where I really feel like this movie would have benefited if it was a 2-hour movie. I mean, just overall, it felt like there was definitely some things that were underbaked, like Tom, Marinette's dad, if you don't know, Adrianette, and kind of Marinette's whole hero arc. I feel like it kind of just goes out the window at some point and then comes back near the end. And I'm like, it's okay, but we don't really see Marinette use Ladybug as a crutch, so it doesn't really work all that well. So that's my biggest concern. But other than that, I do think that everything works out. I think everything flows nicely. I mean, I don't hate anything that happens, so I don't want to say that it's a bad movie. It's more like you got a cake that was a little mushy, a little squishy, it was undercooked. It could have been cooked better, but for what you got, it was okay. So, let me see, how can I deeply dive into this? I think my favorite character dynamics was definitely Chloe and Sabrina. I don't know why, I just enjoyed those two so much. And I think it was because, they weren't going over the top, but what they did was still fun. And for me, just about every moment with them was hilarious, and I definitely enjoyed it. And then Alia and Nino, I will say, their kind of introductions weren't really explained well. At least for me, especially with Adrian. In the original, Adrian is like on his first day of school, forcing himself to go to school because no one else will allow him to. And here he's just there. They don't really explain that. And they don't really just explain how him and Nino became friends. And I mean, that's fine, but they kind of just don't explain the friendship at all. And then Marinette gets introduced to Alia, but my confusion is I don't get it. Like, because in the original, Alia is a new student, but is Alia a new student here? It's just stuff like that. I don't know if they just ran out of time. They didn't really have time to explain. And most of all of the other background characters are just really non-existent. Luke is just in the background now, still non-existent, but he's there. And there was no sight of Kagami, Felix, Zoe, or Mark, which is fun. But yeah, basically everyone else doesn't do anything significant at all, which I'm fine with, because literally they really don't do that much in the show either than get a miraculous for the most part. So their inclusion was inoffensive. And I will say Tom was like such a treat. He was a definite sweet teddy bear, and I liked his dynamic with his daughter. It was adorable. I just wish it had a better payoff, because we see him in the carnival, and then the next time we see him, it's when Marinette finally comes home after a big battle. So I'm like, he doesn't really do anything, and that whole arc kind of just fizzles out. And that's another thing. Like, a bunch of arcs just fizzle out, and then some come back, some don't. I just feel like, they were really trying to push it and meld together 5 seasons worth of content into a movie, which, I mean, they did alright with. I just feel like, for me, they could have either split this movie up, or they could have had this movie focus on an akumatized villain who went too far. Which is, not the worst idea at all. So I think I would have preferred something like that, and then Gabriel get defeated in a different movie. But I will say this, the way they handled the reveals was 10 million times better than the finale, because Adrian is here. And there's no Sentimonster mess in the way, or nothing like that. It's just simply broken down. It's not basic, but it works. And I feel like this version of Gabriel is really redeemable, because you can literally see his health deteriorating as he continues to be Hawkmoth, and him really kind of having a mental struggle on what to do because he wants his wife back. And I'm like, yes, good. And we can actually see him care for Adrian. because Show Gabriel is a literal monster. Literal monster. And I wouldn't want to hear anything else. And I definitely say that the art and the music, it was really good. The art style was amazing. Like, every scene was a work of art, just about. And I can definitely say that, like, it's hard to go back to the show after seeing how beautiful the movie looks. And I can definitely say the lighting had something to do with it. Like, every lighting choice was perfect. Perfection. I think I even heard somewhere that this is the, like, second most money put into a film. So I think that it kind of shows when it comes to how beautiful this thing looks. So I absolutely loved it. Definitely would like to say that the origins that they tried to pull off in this movie was definitely better than how they did it in the original, at least for the sacrifice part on Marinette's end, because Marinette literally had to, you know, go through all this stuff to save Master Fu from a car crash when he was trying to chase after Tiki, and I thought that was really nice. I really wish we would have gotten to see more of Plague, because he really doesn't do much. Just kind of shows up and boom, that's where Adrian's Miraculous comes from. And I mean, I'm like, okay, but why? So that never really made any sense to me. I will say the superpower of Cataclysm and Lucky Charm kind of got put on the backseat. And we kind of don't get really an explanation of how their powers work, because we just see Adrian destroy something with his hand in their second Akuma fight, and then just out of nowhere he has Cataclysm by the final battle. So I'm like, okay. And then we don't see Ladybug use her creation powers until the last battle after everything. And I think the way she did it gives a little more logic to the miraculous Ladybug and how that whole thing works. And I still gotta say, I don't think that that should be just Ladybug's power, but the way they did it in the movie, it made sense for that to be her power. Because technically, she doesn't even have a lucky charm, so it's just, she just has the power to bring back the city and purify Akumas. Which is cool to me. So I think I've covered everything. Overall, I give this movie a 7 out of 10. It was fun. It was underbaked, but it was fun. The Lady Noir scenes were excellent, magnificent, immaculate, just precious. And I hate that in the end they did not kiss. But then again, they didn't really develop things, so I'm not mad. But yeah, so I think that's everything. So this is Mr. TV signing out.